You can be described as a one-man pressure group for correct road signs in Thurrock, is that correct?
That's correct. When becoming a driving instructor, I realised that a lot of driving schools are telling the pupils how to adjust themselves approaching a roundabout for the driving test, rather than teach them to read a road sign and do it correctly. There are loads of roundabouts in Thurrock, and indeed the country, that need to be corrected. Unless we stand out and make ourselves known, it's not going to happen.
And is your greatest fear actually that the consequence could be accidents?
A lot of road rage and accidents in this country are related to being directed in the wrong lane and people changing lanes at the last moment. In a moment I'd like to give you a demonstration of how I approached the roundabout correctly and how to approach the roundabout incorrectly. Incorrect. I'll do the manoeuvre ahead. At the roundabout, go ahead please. Take the third exit to the A13. I'm keeping on the left, which really is a dangerous position to keep, because the A1089 is at 3 o'clock. As I go around, I'm checking the mirrors quite often to see where people are. This is my last exit. Mirror, signal door mirror, exit. I've just manoeuvred around that roundabout 3/4 of the way, which is quite dangerous. Traffic waiting to come out of Asda are anticipating that I want to go to Asda, and they could, and they do, pull out in front of traffic. One driving school car had to brake very rapidly because someone actually did that and had a rear end shunt. I can get the name of that driving school for you if you want that at a later date. I'm going to leave the road now and go back to the roundabout to do the roundabout in the correct order and manner that it should be carried out. I'm leaving the main road now, going back on the other side at the roundabout. At the roundabout, turn right. I want to take the second exit to the right, and that's why I'm in the right-hand lane. No traffic to the right, so I'm proceeding. Checking my mirror. Halfway past my last exit, check my exit mirror. And when safe, move over to the left. Two-way traffic.
How long have you been a driving instructor?
I've been a driving instructor now for 14 years. I used to drive HGVs and heavy plant before I went into the power station at Tilbury due to ill health. I had Crohn's disease and ulcers. It was better to come off the heavy lorries for that reason. I've stayed in the power station for 20 years, and at the age of 50 an opportunity came up where I could change my way of life, if you like, and this is when I decided to become a driving instructor.
And in the 14 years, would you say people's driving is improved or deteriorated or stayed the same?
What I have noticed that I didn't realise until I became a driving instructor, and this is where the website has got another address now, Thurrock Problems. When becoming a driving instructor, which is partly being a teacher, you realise that there are so many people out there that cannot read and write. I call it the 3 Ds. They've either got a deafness problem, where the teacher hasn't been recognised this and they've sat at the back of the classroom all their life and gone through life not learning properly. And then you've got the serious ones, dyslexic and dyspraxia pupils. I can't believe how many pupils are coming out of college and teachers haven't recognised a serious problem like dyspraxia. Dyspraxia is a problem where a person cannot withhold information in a big area. If you give them one problem and then give them a second problem, it's very easy to overload their brain. And then in that case it will take them forever to learn to drive. I'm going back now to more or less into the test centre area at Tilbury, and then I'm going to come back to this roundabout and approach it in the correct, safe manner. that car get away from me to get a braking distance.
And when you're driving out and about in Thurrock, as a percentage, how many bad drivers do you think you see?
It is quite common to see bad driving, as always, but just recently, over the last couple of 3 years, it is increased. I can't give a percentage because I'm not into that, but there are so many people. Give an example, you see them learning to drive on the road on their own. You know this by some of the manoeuvres that they try to undertake. Doing a road turn in a busy or all-sit road, it's just unbelievable. Also, you notice that there are so many cars going around with dents and scrapes in that car that you know that driver, surely that can't be a licensed driver. I've heard tales of people going for a driving test and the driving test not going out because that driver never had a road tax on the car. The story goes, I've only got the car today, I've not had time to do it. It's unbelievable. So there should be checks before a person reaches the test centre that the vehicle they're taking for the test is properly licensed and insured. But apparently that's not happening. Cars are reaching the test centre, parking up, and not finding out they shouldn't be on the road until the actual time of the test, which is unbelievable. We're making our way back to the Asda roundabout now, just going around a few blocks to get there, giving way to that car.
Is speech driving part of the driving test these days, or is it something just for advanced driving?
When you do a driving test, the examiners before going out onto the road, they will give them clear instruction. Example, this is a general, the way I think the examiners put it across. I want you to drive like you do for your driving instructor. In a moment I can ask you to move off and follow the road ahead. If I want you to turn left or right, or the road signs tell you otherwise, like that. In other words, if I want you to turn left or right, I will tell you in plenty of time, unless a road sign tells you otherwise. So if they're really properly trained, they should have no problem conducting a driving test.
And if you were a Minister for Transport, are there any particular laws, traffic laws that you would change?
The first thing I would do, I don't know how I would do it, and I feel a bit uncomfortable saying this, but when there are so many road signs that are wrong, I do feel there are people in responsible jobs at councils that may not have proper qualifications. I don't know how I would prove that. The roundabout sign says it's ahead. The safest way to do this is at 3 o'clock to the right. I'm taking the third exit right. As I turn and approach the giveaway line, you will note now that the road I want is at 3 o'clock over there. The lorries know what I'm doing. I'm in a safe position. As I pass the Asda junction, check my mirror, halfway past signal, check my door mirror, exit safely. Leave on the left, unless the left-hand lane is blocked. No one's saying you can't go ahead at a roundabout, but when you teach someone to drive, you teach them to the clock system. When going ahead, highway code, use the left-hand lane, unless the left-hand lane is blocked. So the right-hand lane is only used if you're turning right or overtaking someone that's broken down, slow-moving traffic, etc., etc.